Well,
All right.
I teased before about a
Yes.
little an anecdote I wanted to bring to the table, and this is always good because I know you love being the arbitrator of my life
Yes,
and offering
I do.
advice, and this is something that I feel like maybe a lot of listeners will have opinions on because I've surveyed a few people and got some different answers. So we had some friends stay over the weekend. You know, big family. So we had a lot of sheets to wash the next day. So rather than do it in our laundry, I was like, I'll just go into town to the communal laundromat, the public laundromat, and get all the sheets done in one big hit. So I had this, when you sort of schedule your day and it's like, oh, perfect. I can drop the sheets off. They can do a wash. I'll go up to the post office. They'll take 20 minutes. I'll come back. They'll be done. Then I can chuck them in the dryer. That's 15 minutes. I can go up and do it. And so you've got your day all scheduled and it sort of all relies on, no more than sort of like a 5-minute, 10-minute delay on any one thing, right? So I get the sheets into the wash, all good. And I go off and I do my 20-minute errands while they wash. And then I come back and all the dryers are taken. They're all moving. They're all spinning, except for one. It's just stopped. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, I really had plans, So I'll give it 10 minutes. I'll go get a coffee or something like that.
Yeah.
Give it 10 minutes. So I went off, 10 minutes came back. The other 3 dryers are still going. That one stationary one, still hasn't moved, but no one's come back to collect their laundry either. And I'm on a bit of a schedule now. I'm like, I got to go drop a deuce. That was coming, not straight. It wasn't the most important thing at this stage.
Yeah.
So I sort of waited for like 10, maybe another 2 or 3 minutes there, and still no one turned up. And so I was like, okay, don't feel great about this, but I'm just going to get one of the communal baskets and I'm going to empty this person's laundry. I try not to look at anything. I'm just going to pull it out. Won't fold it either. I just thought, well, I'll just drag it out and put it in one of the laundry bins, and then I'll put my stuff in. So I did that and got in the car, went and did my dirty business, and then went off to the gym for like an hour. And then when I came back, that laundry was still in the basket. So someone had not come back within an hour to collect that laundry. My sheets were done. And so I grabbed them, put them in my basket and left. Got about almost all the way home when I realized, oh my God, I've actually taken the wrong basket. I've taken one of the laundry's communal baskets and left my one there. So I'll just go back and swap them over. And when I went back, there was a mum in there with a young child who was going through the laundry that I put in the basket. And I said to her, oh, hey, sorry about that. Like I waited around, but you didn't come back and I just need to get these sheets. So I hope that's okay. It's fair to say my reception was very frosty. She was not pleased, like kind of just cold shouldered me as if I had done something really egregious. And so I was like, oh, fuck. I don't know. Like I can't remember the last time I used a communal laundry in that way. There's no rules written on the wall about like time limit and stuff, but I would have thought, considering there are timers on the washing machines and the laundry, when you put your load in, what your window is, and it's like a parking spot. You can't just like stay there for longer than the allotted period, right? So I come home and I say to Jem, I tell her the story, and she's like, absolutely. Like that woman, as soon as the dryer's done, like you just have to pull it out. What's your take on this situation? What would you have done knowing that you had a schedule to keep?
What's my take, or what would I have
What
done?
would you have
They're
done?
two separate questions.
Okay,
So
well, let's.
my take is this, very simply. There's a window of time that's acceptable. Like I think of 15, 20 minutes, the appropriate, just you've popped to get your coffee. It took a little longer. They've gone to do the groceries. It took a little bit longer. You don't sit there and the minute it's done, you just rip their stuff out and put it in a basket. I think it's nice for you to give someone some wiggle room, but this has been
How long?
I mean, this has been, 10 or 15 minutes maximum would be my, I think that's perfectly appropriate, right? So, and technically, probably you don't need to give any. If the person's not there, this is a communal space. You've all entered into this agreement. We all enter into it because if you're not there, anyone can walk in at any stage and take your laundry. If you're down getting a coffee or if you're at the gym or whatever, you've entered into this agreement that anyone with a $2 big, like, one of those bags you get at like the $2 shop. You could come in with one of those, pretend it's your laundry, walk out with everybody's clothes.
Like
So
Marla Singer in Fight Club. That
Yeah,
scene in Fight Club. Where
right.
she just walks
So
in the laundry and steals a bunch
it's
of clothes.
literally one of those scenarios that we know what we're entering into. It's a social contract. It relies on us each sort of being there for each other in a way. So the fact that she was away for so long and you took her stuff out, no, you were fine. She was the one who was being inappropriate because she was holding up something she did not need for someone who needed it. She was stealing from the business because you couldn't spend your money there. Like it was like, so she was stealing from the business during that time. And she was also,
I should have yelled that. So I was taking
well,
the
if she doesn't want to support local small businesses, the one that she relies on, and she relies clearly for it to be there, but she can't take advantage of that. They only have a certain amount of machines and they need those machines to be working as often as possible to be able to pay for the upkeep of those machines and keep those machines like clean and secure and security cameras and these sort of things. So no, she's clearly stealing from the business during that time. What I would say is, we generally have a politeness that if you don't need the machine, you don't move people's stuff, right? It's not like the minute it's out, take it out. You put it in a basket. I think that is totally appropriate. There's nothing wrong with any of your behavior. Here's what I would have done that you did not do. When I came back and my stuff was done and her stuff was like they weren't back yet, I just would have put it back in the machine.
That's smart. Didn't think of that.
That's what I would have done. And then none of this arises, right? You got away with it. It was the perfect crime.
I know.
She would have been none of the wiser to the fact that you had actually got your sheets dried during that time.
The anxiety, because I felt like when I got my sheets, I felt like I got away with the perfect crime because she's just going to come back and find her and she'd have no idea. There's no cameras in there. There's no one else. No one saw me, unsighted. But then when I got into my drive, I'm like, oh, God damn it, that's the wrong basket. I knew it was a risk to go back, but I just had to do it.
But did you have her basket? You didn't have her basket.
No, that was just one of the communal baskets.
So again, like you've volunteered the information that you put her stuff in the basket, which you did not need to do either. You could have absolutely in that moment said nothing. Firstly, you could have just like said nothing and like, ignored the situation. Like she might have even suspected it was you, but she wouldn't have any information to like be sure of that fact,
she called
right?
the police.
If she said, "Hey, did you put my laundry in here?" Like if she actually asked you, you could have in that situation been honest, or you could have in that situation gone, "Oh, that's really funny. I was actually just in here before and somebody had put my laundry in for me. That's actually why I've got the wrong basket. They put it in the wrong basket and I just picked it up." So, I mean, again, I just think you could have, what I would have done versus you weren't wrong in what you did. I just think you could have avoided this situation by
altogether.
Yeah, altogether.
I mean, there is a possibility because she gave me such a cold shoulder that she didn't speak English. I mean, she might have been like German or something like that because she just seemed to not even acknowledge what I had said, which was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just had to take that stuff out." But it got me thinking. And
I imagine what's actually going to happen is you're going to run into this woman in another situation and you're going to say, "Hey, were you the woman from the laundry that day?" And she'd be like, "No, that's my sister. She looks a lot like me. I've never been to this area before."
It got me thinking about what the etiquette is. So I went to Reddit, which is obviously, you get all your best opinions. And I found this is the most similar situation I could find to mine. So this is someone who wrote, to those using shared laundry rooms, is it acceptable to remove someone's clothes if they've been sitting in the machine for hours? I used to just take out the clothes and set them up on top of the washer to dry if they'd been sitting in there for over an hour. But recently someone left a super angry note in the laundry room threatening anyone who touched their clothes. Am I completely out of line on this?
Yeah, okay.
So that didn't happen.
That's pretty good. No.
But that's pretty similar. Okay, so this is I've just collated some of my.
And by the way, this is communal laundry room at an apartment block, which I have been in that situation.
Yeah.
I think in that situation, it's absolutely appropriate that you're allowed to take it out. Like it's a communal, it's for everybody. Again, the person who's left their clothes in there is the person taking advantage, not the person who's trying to get their clothes into there. If you stopped someone's cycle mid-cycle and took their clothes out and put yours in, sure, you've overstepped. But if the cycle's done, it's on the person who's left their clothes there.
Yeah. I mean, those fucking psychotic neighbors I had back when I lived in Sydney, the ones who,
Yes.
you know, were just monsters. We had a communal laundry upstairs, and why was it that's right. We had a washing machine. They had a washing machine. But occasionally we'd have people come stay and I'd forget to tell them which washing machine was which.
Yes.
And they would fucking flip, even if they didn't need it. Just the mere thought that someone had put clothes in their washing machine, I don't know, wear and tear or something like that. But I tell you what, we didn't have a dryer there. Me and the other apartment, we sprung for a dryer. And these motherfuckers used our dryer all the time. We couldn't use their dishwasher,
No.
but I would catch them using our fucking dryer all the time. I mean, that's a separate issue. I understand, but just
sidebar.
we're talking about
Sidebar,
the
Your
anger is
Honour.
still. Well, I actually Osher texted me because Osher lives not far from where our apartment used to be, and he texted me a photo showing that their business had closed down, and I was so fucking happy about it. Like it was just. Few things, a few good things came out of COVID.
Yeah, real Schadenfreude.
Lost their
Yeah,
business.
fucking guys.
Oh, God. Like I told Jem about it, and she's like, good. And I said, should we be a bit more sympathetic to a woman who clearly had mental issues and was struggling? And Jem was like, no, I fucking hate her. I hope she has a miserable death. I'm like, okay.
It's easy to be in principle kind, but when you've had to live alongside that situation, it's like I'm happy to be anti-war and a pacifist, but I'm not going to, put myself in the shoes of a soldier and what their experience would be. You lived on the front lines.
Yeah. All right. So this is the first response. I thought this was just an interesting collection of responses because people speculate on what the time limit should be, what the actual etiquette in a laundry is. Okay. So the fairy chef says, don't worry about it. You're in the clear. Our laundry machines all tell you exactly how long they'll be done. So I give a grace period of about 10 minutes before I remove someone else's clothes so I can use the machine, which is kind of what you speculated, right? You said 10 to 15 minutes. A ghosted account says an hour. Sounds like you don't give a shit about it. 15 minutes is the longest anyone should wait before moving your stuff for you. So, that's again in your ballpark. This person who chose to remain anonymous said, my God, if you touched my panties, I would be so pissed. Seriously.
Well, don't leave your panties in a public place. You can't, I don't want to victim blame here, but if you're leaving your panties unattended in public, you can't then say, that's like leaving a toddler in public and say, nobody touched my baby. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, it's your responsibility to have an eye on them at most times.
Well, it was funny when I was removing, I tried to be as sort of discreet and respectful as possible. So I kind of was turning my head. So it wasn't look like if anyone walked in, it didn't look like I was targeting underpants, that I was moving underpants first and ignoring towels and everything else. I was just randomly scooping stuff into this basket without favor or fortune.
But also, come on, it's clean underwear. The association with underwear is surely either when it's on the person, it's sexual when it's on the person, or I can understand, it's not my thing, but I know that there is a market for pre-worn or the idea that it's been on a person is what makes it sexy. But it's just come out of a washing machine. Is underwear sexy at Target? Should they have a sealed section at Target for people to walk through and buy underwear? It's not inherently sexy anyway, is it? It's just been washed.
Some underwear, I think, is aesthetically sexy that even without seeing it on a body. I mean, that's not my fetish either, but I can appreciate the aesthetics of sexy underwear and what it kind of evokes.
Yeah, but I mean
But I imagine this was, I did not see anything lace or satiny. It was very much your Monday to Friday undies.
Well, I'm just saying, you shouldn't be leaving anything in a public place that you're not willing for somebody to go through, right? That's what I would say.
Some weirdo. Another anonymous said, no, fuck them. They shouldn't be waited on, which I think is you get some real insights into how people view the world. The world's full of pussies, dicks, and assholes. That's that response. Hello McFly says, this is my 3 rules in college. If the laundry left in the dryer is still warm, then I will take them out and fold them. If the laundry left in there is no longer warm, then I'll take them out and pile them somewhere else because they're going to be wrinkly anyway. If the laundry is left in a washing machine, I'll put it in a dryer, but select a delicate setting. What do you think about that? That seems like a lot of work.
I
mean, the folding the clothes, because that was a consideration of mine because it was still warm. And I know with Jem, like when we dry and clothes here, she's always like, hey, let's just fold these as soon as they come into the dryer. We'll get rid of, any creases or whatever. Stop getting all crunched up. But is that my job?
I think that's more intrusive, personally. Like, I would much prefer. Now I'm putting myself in.
It would be weird to walk in and see a complete stranger folding up your Van Halen t-shirt.
Yeah, I'm not into it. Like, no. I think it's enough that you've taken it out. As long as you haven't, like, chucked it in a corner or somewhere it gets dirty again, or, like, and you'd put it in a basket. So,
yeah.
So that.
Haphazardly, though, I must admit.
Yes, but again, that's not on you. And I actually think it's creepy.
They were gone for
I think it's worse if I came back and it was folded by you.
Yeah.
That means you've actually taken some time. Like you've had, like
that's the equivalent of kissing on the lips.
Yeah, it's too much, right?
Like it's a bit too intimate.
Like it's okay for you to just take a whole like.
What if you walked in and I was kissing the laundry?
So like, do you know what I mean? Though it does feel like if you just take an armful of laundry. Like there might be a towel in there. You don't even know what else is in there, right? Like you just jam it all together. You put it in the basket. You haven't looked at the details. Whereas if you folded it, then you've really gone through. And we're human beings. There's absolutely no way you haven't judged something along the way, right? Like,
to see the full video, join our Patreon.
Patreon.com/Tofop.